My name is Munro. I'm a BIM technical consultant with Cansel services. So I'm not here to hawk software or anything like that. I'm here to solve some problems that you guys might have on a day-to-day basis. So one of the things I want to talk about is moving data from the virtual reality to reality and back again in 5 minutes. So there's a bit of an issue within BIM, is making that workflow as easy as possible. It's always a one-off. We're always solving new problems, right? We want to make a bi-directional approach to move from design to survey to construction and back again, so we can use this data and it becomes more proficient and more value added to the job for everybody to use, right? So how do we do that? How do we move data from back and forth and forward? Well, it takes a lot of effort. A lot of different people need to be involved. Everything in BIM right now seems to be somewhat siloed. You know, everybody seems to be working on their own thing. So one of the things there's a couple of things that I like to focus on that are important key points. Workflow, hardware and software tools, education and training. I think collaboration is a huge part of this, right? Because you're taking a whole gamut of different people to try and come down with one common thing and create one workflow that works for everybody. So in the end, it's all about the goal. What are we trying to accomplish here, right? So in this case and scenario, the goal was to create a really specific as-built model, right? So we digitized the building. It was an older building, and then from there we wanted to do a retrofit and do an addition. So we designed in authoring program, and then from there we would take the required data and push it out to the field. And then, as we all know, not everything gets built as per design. So to make a more specific as-built model, we would then push the data, collect data from the field, utilizing hardware and whatnot, and push it back into the model, and then essentially back into an as-built model for FM purposes. So at Cansel, we've kind of gone through and looked at a kind of bunch of different activities that were typical for everybody within survey to construction to architecture and engineering. And we've kind of come up with a bit of a list here that is activities-based. So anything from essentially as-built capture to site progress documentation. So if you want to capture certain times as you're going through the process of building, we can digitize that and bring it into a BIM environment. Some of the other stuff is like site verification. We want to make sure that things are getting installed as per. Aerial scanning, site layout, quality control, all these things are bi-directional that'll work tightly with models and in the field. So what's the right workflow? It's this word that's being thrown around a lot, workflow. It's different for everybody, but I think if you stick within some of these ideas of asking yourself, what am I trying to accomplish here, will set you on the right path from the start, okay? So what kind of data do you deal with? This is important. Even more important is what do you want your data to reside in? Typically, your authoring software that you're going to use will dictate some of the workflow of how you're trying to do some of these things. So it's important to understand that what the end result in, what is the goal, and where you're going to move in that direction, and how you want to manipulate this stuff. I can do data capture for piping and structural detailing, and it's a totally different workflow because the software that we're going into is different. There is no one tool for every job. Like everybody thinks there's a one tool that does everything for you. It's not the case. Every tool does something differently, and it all does it better. So it's get the best tool in your toolbox to use it. The old analogy is don't use the hammering nail or the sledgehammer to hammer in a finished nail. It's overkill. Get the right team together, and again, big picture details. So the result in this case from this one was, we come up with a design workflow that's custom built for you specifically. It saves you time and gets you more accuracy. And it's repetitive. You can go through that process over and over and over again. A lot of times it just goes one way and that's it, and then it's the end of it. So a better way to utilize some of this stuff. So that's my 5 minutes. I'm 5 seconds over. I think that's not too bad. I just wanted to say if you guys have any more questions, I'm going to be standing on the floor in there with some of our sales guys. Feel free to come up and talk about some of these things. I appreciate it. Thank you.